Baby Don't Hurt Me, about complicated emotional entanglements, will be her first it'll be first told in a personal narrative, and then she's going to tell it in her love language, dance. She will truly exemplify a phoenix rising from the flame, as this is Kari's first dance performance in 2 years since an injury. First time on the Bedpost stage, so please welcome our final performer tonight, Kari Burke. I grew up in a cult. Yeah. Well, it was an off-brand cult, really, but I'll get to that. It's called The Way International. Feel free to look them up on Wikipedia for some light reading after the show. But for now, TLDR, all standard culty things can be found in The Way International. Obsessive and exclusive community, power, embezzlement, and sex scandals. They branded themselves as a college or educational institution and had a full campus in Knoxville, Ohio. Think Wild Wild Country, but without the matching outfits. My parents met and married there in a group wedding, by the way, and 30 years later still talk about it with that dreamy, nostalgic glow in their eyes as the best years of their lives. They lived the magic of love and community, and in many ways, The Way really was ahead of their time. I grew up with all the healthy lifestyle things that are mainstream now. We were gluten-free and ate clean, allergen-free diets. We used all organic and homemade products, and had extensive knowledge of supplements and essential oils. But when I was a baby, the power and corruption inevitably broke the institution, and it started to fall apart. My parents and hundreds of other people were fired, kicked out, and forever shunned. What The Way liked to call mark and void. They lost their closest friends and chosen family with no reason or warning. The exiled families took their stolen literature and proceeded to start underground splinter groups of the off-brand Way, hiding from the Way police. Yeah, that was the thing. Being so removed from society fucked me up in a lot of ways, especially when it came to emotional awareness. I experienced top-notch emotional manipulation from some of the very best sociopaths around. Nothing but the best for me. Combine that with the thick cloud of my parents' broken spirits and bitterness from being kicked out of the Way, my reality and perspective of the world were incredibly warped. One of my first memories of feeling anything was when I was 5 years old, throwing a tantrum at the kitchen table because I didn't want to eat my veggies. My dad, instead of calmly coaxing me, reached for his camera. He took pictures of my angry, tear-soaked face, and the longer he clicked, the deeper my rage and helplessness grew. Later, after he'd gotten the pictures developed, because you know that shit took like a week, right? He sat me down to look at every picture and said, "See how ridiculous you look when you're upset?" I learned emotions were a weakness to be exploited, and that was the last time someone saw me cry for a very long time. But here's something you wouldn't expect about growing up in a cult. Sure, emotionally my life was fucked, but artistically, my life was amazing. And that's because The Way prized high art. My parents toured the country with The Way Productions, creating Broadway-level performances with some of the best dancers and musicians in the world. That's my mom. Fucking stunning, right? So, she's a classically trained ballerina. She's playing a temptress possessed by a devil spirit in a show called Athletes of the Spirit, meant to teach non-believers about the dangers of spiritual warfare. She even had a pyrotechnic ring that shot a fiery dart at her victim. I mean, the production level was incredible. Kind of weird, but incredible. Because of this, my sexuality was immensely warped too. Women were expected to be stunning and sexual goddesses in the name of art, but only to warn of the powers of devil spirits. I learned sexual power with deep self-hatred and resentment. I was groomed to be a fantasy and then shamed for being alluring. If I let myself shine and people were attracted to me, it must be because I was possessed. I began to mistrust affection because surely people were only infatuated with my prowess. So, much like my emotions, I repressed my sexuality with no safe or healthy outlet. My parents didn't know how to love me, but they did support me by providing me with the best arts training possible. For almost 10 years, my mom drove me an hour away to train 6 days a week with a pre-professional ballet company, which is just another cult in its own right, but we don't have time for that story. I'm a fucking pro at this point. I booked my first professional dance job a week after my 16th birthday. I moved to Dayton, Ohio for a few months to rehearse the show and got my first taste of the outside world, free from the off-brand cult. I was one of 6 main dancers, and we performed for a live audience of 30,000 people in a huge outdoor stadium. It's the first time I remember experiencing true joy. The moment I stepped on stage, I felt the electricity of being alive for the first time. And I couldn't hold it in, I just started laughing. I felt free. I felt alive. When I danced on stage, I could open my heart as wide as it needed, and I was safe there, because no one could reach me. I could feel or be anything I wanted, and no one would use it against me. But my success came at a high cost. When I was 17, I competed in my hometown's very coveted St. Mary's Summerfest pageant. The night before, I got super wasted for the first time, like laying face down in the gravel at the driving race. Instead of trying to lie to my parents and stay the night elsewhere, I had my friends take me home. I did the walk of shame past my mom as I drunkenly slurred what had happened and did my best to sleep it off. The gossip spread quickly. The next day, everyone was talking about how Kari, the good little Christian girl, had been a hot drunk mess the night before. To add insult to injury, my randomly selected onstage question was this: why do you think underage drinking is such an issue in small towns? Fuck you. But even hungover as fuck, I pulled it together and I was crowned the Summerfest Queen. Despite the win, my reputation was shattered. The gossip turned into rumors that I had been arrested. The Summerfest committee threatened to take away my crown and winnings. When school started months later, I was called into the principal's office to report on the rumors. I answered honestly that I drank too much, got a ride home, and told my parents. I was suspended for underage drinking. The entire town, which, by the way, encouraged the football team to dope, publicly shamed me for my mistake. I learned that honesty and mistakes were just another weakness to be exploited. I had been made a pariah. So I got the fuck out. After college, I got married and moved to Austin after visiting here for just a weekend. It's good here. Austin felt different, like a safe place for me to spread my wings. And even though I was new to town, my dance career continued to soar. I danced with Kanye West and Rick Ross. I joined Blue Lapis Light and danced as an aerialist hundreds of feet in the air on the sides of buildings. I became a teacher and mentor. I cultivated a beautiful community of dancers and athletes. I shared my love of movement free of the guilt and shame I've been subjected to. But I couldn't escape the self-hatred and rage I've been rehearsing my entire life, and the facades I created to protect myself began to crumble. I had no idea who I was. I was such a skilled performer that I could morph into the best character for every situation. Everybody loved me, yet I was horribly alone. 2015 is what I like to call the beginning of the end of the beginning. I got divorced, lived out of my car, and couch surfed for 6 months. But even though my life was uprooted once again, I actually found grounding. Dance was all that I had left of my identity, and maybe because of that, I began to dance just for me. Not because it was my job or because I had something to prove, but because I wanted to. I began to define what being an artist meant for me, and in this time period, y'all, my art was defined. Whatever the medium, ballet, modern, hip-hop, aerial silks, pole dance, I did it all and I owned it. I gave dance my everything. I also began to erase the notion that sexuality was from the devil, and I brought my play from the stage into my sex life. I got really good at twerking. I gave my lap dances to my lovers, and I had my first threesome. Started here, actually. I was an artist on my own terms. I felt good, free, like a phoenix rising from the flame. And then my body. I had chronic back pain for almost 15 years, and my body finally gave up when I tore cartilage in my hip. I'd seen many doctors over a decade, and none of them could properly diagnose my injury. They all told me, well, if you could dance through the pain, you'll be fine. And I did, until I wasn't. It was like a switch flipped. I went from being an elite athlete to not being able to stand long enough to cook myself a meal. I received over 100 excruciating platelet injections while I simultaneously had to relearn the basics. How to sit, how to walk, how to stand. I'd finally found the right doctor, but physical therapy was unbearable. I had pain so intense I still felt it in my sleep. I could barely walk down the hall to the bathroom, and I was convinced I'd never dance again. The pain began to warp my thoughts. Imagine the most awful sound you've ever heard being played at full volume in your head at all hours of the day and night. I couldn't drown it out long enough to perform basic tasks. I hit rock bottom one night driving home in the rain. I had been suicidal for a while, but this was the night it became really tangible. As I was driving, I considered how easy it would be to move my hand on the steering wheel just 2 inches to the right and plunge off a bridge. The struggle of my entire life could be over with just 2 inches. As soon as I completed that thought, though, a song came on the radio and repeated over and over again, "Don't stop dancing, girl." I was fucking pissed. How could I stop doing what I already couldn't do anyway? I just wanted respite, and God or the universe, whoever the fuck is out there that I didn't even believe in anymore, told me no, and my entire existence hinged on a fucking pop song. I pulled over and I sobbed. I finally cried the pain that had been accumulating for almost 30 years. In that moment, I realized the force at which I wanted to die was equal to how much I wanted to live. Fucking fine, I thought, I'll keep going or whatever. Enter Dr. M, the therapist I'd seen during my divorce. It had been some time since my last appointment, but I got right to the point. I'm suicidal, but I'm scaring myself. She told me that I didn't have to be alone anymore. I had never cried in our sessions, but I immediately burst into tears, and she cried with me. We hugged. As I moved back to the couch, I dropped my head low to avoid her gaze. Knowing I was starting to rebuild a wall that was temporarily dropped by vulnerability, Dr. M bent down and positioned her face underneath mine, looking up at me, forcing me to look at her. To be seen, to be loved, and to stay open. It was as if she said, "You don't have to dance for me. I see you." In high school, a close friend of mine died in a car accident. When I heard the news, I didn't cry. But that night in ballet class, my dancing was extraordinary. "You're moving so beautifully," everyone said. It's because I let myself feel, I thought. I didn't realize until much later how dancing was my only connection to my soul and my spirit. And it made sense that I wanted to die when I couldn't dance. As I worked through therapy and my emotional wounds healed, my physical pain lessened. Dr. M exemplified healthy love, and after a lifetime of unhealthy people, I finally began to soften and trust. She modeled every relationship I never got to learn from. In that room, she was my therapist, my mother, my sister, my mentor, my spiritual guru, my friend. She slowly filled up every part of me and taught me how to do it for myself. I finally felt safe to be seen up close. Dr. M once told me that many people break from such chronic onslaught of trauma, and hearing that gave me so much comfort. With this knowledge, for the first time, I saw my own strength. I knew I might be okay someday. It's someday, you guys. She's here tonight, y'all. Get some business cards. Some people's wounds run so deep they can't help but want to destroy beauty. Because for them, beauty is a cruel reminder of what they so desperately crave and believe they'll never have. But I'm ending the cycle. I finally started to heal my own wounds from a lifetime of battles with broken people who've convinced me to dampen my brilliance because they couldn't face their own pain or shortcomings. It's a beautiful thing to have been dragged through the depths of hell and back. To know pain is to see your own truth. To understand pain is to see the humanity and struggle in others and still soften around their thorns. To look death in the eyes when it whispers sweet nothings and still choose life is power much greater than anything on this earth. It is to choose to see life from every angle in all its brilliance and struggle and still be able to love the most horrendous humans without wearing their suffering. So I'll continue to peel my heart open and be seen, to reveal and love the beautiful scars that have made me a goddess. I'll weather the public scorn if it means people might watch, learn, and soften. I won't stop dancing.